Hi, everyone. Good evening. I am McKenna and Jordan. I'm the owner of Murder by the Book in Houston, Texas. And tonight, I'm super excited about a special event. Hi, John.
Hello.
So, most of you don't get to see me and John on here at the same time. It's either me chatting with an author or John chatting with an author. But tonight, we're doing virtual events behind the scenes. So, it's your chance to ask us questions about inside baseball, questions about who our favorite authors are that we've chatted with, anything you'd like. So, I've already put in the comments. Don't be shy. Ask us questions. But we're also here tonight to talk with our newest interviewing member of Murder by the Book. So we have Sara DiVello joining us, and I'm going to bring her on here. Hi, Sara.
Hi, McKenna. Hi, John. I'm so happy
Hello.
to be here.
Yeah. We are so happy about this, too. I think we should have a toast to our new collaboration.
Yay!
Cheers!
Cheers!
It's going to be great. So, Sara, we are familiar with you from Mighty Blaze and all the wonderful interviews that you've been doing with them. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your new group that you've created and this collaboration?
Yes. So I am a lifelong mystery lover, like so many of us, right? I mean, back to my Nancy Drew days, I remember my grandmother reading that to me and my cousins, and then started reading us P.D. James, which the parents weren't so thrilled about. That was a little too bloody, but I loved it, and I have loved mysteries ever since. It's been a lifelong passion. So when the pandemic descended, and I joined up with a Mighty Blaze, I said, of course, let me shine a spotlight on my favorite genre and help my mystery and thriller authors get the word out about their book, connect them to readers, give readers a chance to get to know their favorite authors, or introduce them to their next favorite that they never even knew they were missing out on. And so that's how I started the series. And in the past 15 months, I have interviewed over 100 authors, which is kind of crazy. So everybody from Dean Koontz, Jeffrey Deaver, Patricia Cornwall, the big celebrities, Ruth Ware, Lisa Unger, Jane Harper, down to rising stars, debuts. I've done it all, and I love to both, have those really big names and then also give those first-time authors a chance to get out and get the word out, get them known as well. So I am just having so much fun. I want to keep it going. And so I am so thrilled to have the chance to collaborate with my favorite bookstore and partner with you guys. This is awesome.
We are super excited about it. And when we look back at the numbers of the events and authors we've spoken to, also, it's mind-boggling. I am very excited for your energy, too, because there are many nights that John and I come home to do an event, and we are very tired from the bookstore, and then as soon as we hit live, the smiles come on, and here we go. But it's going to be so nice kind of sharing the interviewing process with you, and clearly, like I said, the energy you're bringing to it. John just put a link in the comments here about your Mystery and Thriller Mavens group. So certainly click on there if you want more information. And it's funny, we have some regular customers who already knew you from what you've been doing. So I think it's going to be a really fun matchup and pairing. So for those of you who are watching, as I said, certainly put some questions in here. We'd love to just kind of talk about some of the events we've done, some of the things that we have coming up, things we've read, whatever you'd like us to talk about. We're going to let you guide the conversation. But I do have a few things that I thought maybe we could talk about that would be fun. So you mentioned a lot of the people that you've talked with, but Sara, do you have a favorite event or something that stands out in the past, year that you've done?
Oh my gosh. I mean, my brain is just exploding because there's been so many amazing moments. Just the chance to talk to Dean Koontz and to have that moment with him and to hear how, he grew up in a really tough home environment. I mean, his dad was abusive, and to hear how his childhood was so hard and so tough, and that books were his escape and were his salvation. And I think so many of us can relate to that. Books saved us in various ways. I mean, I got teary. I almost cried. It was so deeply moving. And then at the opposite end of the spectrum, we got Lee Goldberg, one of the funniest guys I've ever interviewed. I laughed so hard, I'm going to call it an ab workout. That guy is hilarious. And he's coming back to talk to us about his next book with our collaboration in October, the second series in the second the next book in the Eve Ronin series. I can't wait for that. And then Brad Parks, that guy's hilarious. And who knew he could sing? I mean, I'm so jealous of that voice.
we are fully versed in that, but maybe not other people.
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. I wish I had a good voice. So he's coming back at the end of July, and I cannot wait for that July 26th. And he's really funny too. I mean, working in Hardee's, I mean, that's a weird place to work.
Yeah. John, remind me, we had a dinner after an event one time. Was it somewhere under the rainbow that he broke up over the rainbow?
It was that, or actually at one point, my favorite. So we had this coworker who's not at the store anymore, Kinley. So during Brad's talk, she goes to the bathroom. She comes out of the bathroom, and Brad is on the author side. So if you come into the store, there's like the register side, and then there's like the other side where we host the events. And she comes out of the bathroom, and I think that's when Brad was singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And she's like, what is going on here? It's like, oh, Brad just broke out into song. It's what he does.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that guy is hilarious, and he's so funny and so talented. I mean, and I wish I had half that voice.
Yeah. How about you, John? Do you have an event that's been exceptional to you?
Yeah, I think you and I are going to have a little bit of overlap. Getting to host. I think we've talked to John Grisham like 3 different times. Of course, the biggest being able to have Stephen King in conversation with James Lee Burke. It's just kind of one of those like, oh my God, I can't believe we get to be a part of this things. I think one of my favorites recently, I chatted with Nikessa Afia like 2 weeks ago for her book, Dead Girls. And it was her first book. It was the launch day for her first book. She didn't get to have an in-store launch for it because of the pandemic, but just kind of getting to see her, like just her excitement about it and just that passion about it was really great too.
Oh my God. I'm having so much just jealousy right now. That's amazing. Oh my God. That's so cool.
How about you, McKenna?
Yeah. I mean, it's the day that we got asked to host Stephen King was pretty landmark. I mean, and I was certainly nervous about that. It's also been hugely complimentary and fun that John Grisham has asked to continue returning for interviews, like requested to chat with me a couple times. So I've had a really fun time talking with him and being able to pair up him and James Lee Burke, and then the Stephen King and James Lee Burke events. Like those have been excellent pairings. I will say also that because I do so many of them since John's at the store, I do find our British female author pairings to be they're always so witty and fun and delightful. And I always come up to the store like full of life and joy. They're just chat so well about the books, and they're always easy as a moderator too. I don't know, it's stereotyping them, but I typically enjoy our little afternoon chats a lot with authors overseas. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and answer this one that just popped up. Patricia asks, are we all wearing sweatpants? Patricia, I am packing. I'm moving on Sunday, and I definitely have on leggings. I'm not gonna lie. I did a quick change like 3 minutes before this. So how about the two of you?
I have real pants on because I got home from the store at like 6:35, so I've not changed out of my jeans yet.
I am actually the perfect combination of you guys. I'm wearing yoga jeans, so they're jeans jeggings.
There you go. Patricia was also saying that we need a Mystery and Thriller Mavens wardrobe, or at least t-shirts. So there's your assignment, Sarah. Start coming up with graphics, or we'll put someone else on it. But sounds like a good plan.
I love that idea. I didn't even think of that. That's so cool. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Yay.
All right. Patricia also has another question for all of us. Who has been the most challenging author to interview? How about we start with you, John?
Some of the most challenging ones are the ones where the internet connection doesn't work, just from a technical standpoint, where you're like, so in that, like Tasha Alexander, who I adore, lives in the middle of Wyoming. So her internet connection was just terrible when we were chatting with her and Lauren Willig and Deanna Rayburn. So like she would get ready to answer the question, it would pause. And then by time you were like, okay, I've given up, she hasn't heard me, then she would start answering the question. So those are always, I think, the hardest. Although I will say the most challenging ones are the ones where the authors you have like 15 questions and they give really short answers. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've run through everything, and we've been chatting for like 10 minutes, and we're done. How do I vamp for another like 45 minutes?
Yeah, it's not even one word answers. I interviewed Camilla Lackberg, and she gave full answers very quickly. Like, she fully answered the question. And so I remember interviewing her early on, and she spoke very quickly, and she answered the question, and I moved on. And then I went to work after the interview, and John went, "You're supposed to be interviewing Camilla Lackberg right now." And I said, "No, we're done." But it was 30 minutes. I asked her all the things. We had crowd questions. She answered them all. There were no follow-ups. We're done.
Wow.
So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, those ones where they are concise, which, by the way, is a skill that I aspire to have, because I can sort of start rambling, but it's so challenging. I mean, I find myself starting to sweat through my shirt when I'm like, oh my God, we're 7 minutes in, and I have this backup list of 75 questions, and I'm like, we have gone through all 75.
Yeah. Yesterday I texted John after, and I was like, I did like at least 20 or 25 questions, and we were done 35 minutes in. Like, I can't help it. We did all the questions. Like, it's fine. So and John and I also hear you about the stress sweats. Every time is a new thing because of the technical issues that can happen. Like, you'd think after doing hundreds of these that it wouldn't be nerve-wracking, but it's still nerve-wracking. I think I'm with John though, when if there's a freeze connection, that's one thing, but when there's that delay, that's the worst, because you want to move on, and then you inevitably talk over each other with that delay. Gail was wondering how we found each other, because Gail also has been watching you, Sarah, and then she's been watching us. So, do you want to cover how this all got started?
Yes. So, Gail, hi. Good to have you here tonight. Thanks for joining us. So I interviewed S.A. Lelchuk, so Saul Lelchuk, for my Mighty Mystery series. And then the publicist emailed me and said, oh my God, you guys work really good together. Like, your chemistry is so great together. Would you want to hop into this interview with Murder by the Book? And I was like, obviously, the chance to work with Murder by the Book and do this all again, amazing. So I was so freaking excited. And so that's how I met John. And I was like, this is so fun. This is so great. And, my family owns a garden center in Philadelphia, third generation family-owned garden center. And I worked there through college. So I love small businesses, and I want to do everything I can to support small businesses. And so all of a sudden, a divine inspiration struck, and I thought, oh my God, I could get boots on the ground and partner with an actual independent bookstore, and this would be so great. And so that's how it happened.
Yeah, and we were super excited about it too, because it's going to be a great partnership, being able to work with you, and then you can direct people to us for the book sales, and we'll continue trying to do our book plates and signed books, and work with you and John and I all have the same publicist connections, but some you work with more than we do. So I think it's going to be a really symbiotic relationship. We're all super excited about it.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys are so amazing. John Grisham wants to come back. You hosted Stephen King. I mean, the king himself. What was that like? What's he like? Is he kind of scary, or is he like normal? What's he like?
He was wonderful. So we all actually got on, all my staff members, like, most people don't pop on early with the author. It's just me or John, but everyone wanted to pop on to the Zoom to virtually meet Stephen King.
Yeah.
And I will say, the event the book that we were talking about was the new James Lee Burke book. He was there to interview or be in conversation with James Lee Burke. I actually did the interviewing, but it was for promotion of that book last year, not a new Stephen King release. And he was so gracious in that every opportunity he got to talk up James Lee Burke and James Lee Burke's writing and how much of a fan he was of James Lee Burke, he took that opportunity. And I will never forget, at one point, he was telling a story, and he said, a long time ago, I wrote a book called It. And we were all like, you didn't need to preface that. You could have just said, when I wrote It, like, we would have known. But it was like that moment where I thought, oh, he's absolutely, he doesn't assume anything. He doesn't assume that we know he's a celebrity, and he was incredibly gracious and really just a delight. And it was an easy interview, although I was so nervous for it. But yeah, he was great. Don't you think, John?
Yeah, yeah, and like you said, I mean, he was so great about letting us, like, he popped on a little early, so we all had a chance to say hi and make sure, like, our coworker Sally is a huge fan of his. So yeah, being able to kind of get that FaceTime with him beforehand was really nice, and not something he needed to do, but was, yeah, such a good sport about it. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my God, that's so cool. So he lives, in Maine, and I live in Boston, and my husband is a huge Red Sox fan, like a Red Sox fanatic, like a freak. And he goes to and watches like every game. And, Stephen King is usually out there in the, I don't even know that it's not the outfield, but like the first baseline with his glove, because he catches so many balls. And so he just sits there with his glove, like waiting for the next one to come at him. And so that's what I know, about Stephen King in Boston.
That is so funny. Yeah. Well, I was very impressed from him from a easygoing, nice guy perspective, which is, he didn't have to be. It was nice for him to do the interview, and then he could have come on there and made it the Stephen King show, and he certainly didn't. He kept throwing it back to James Lee Burke. Okay, we have more questions. So is there an author that we would love to interview but have been unable to confirm a date? How about you, Sarah? You want to start with that one?
Oh my God. Okay. Well, Stephen King. Not that he's not confirming a date. I mean, I just, someday would be a dream to host that guy. Let me think about that. There's so many authors that I am so freaking excited for, and I have a really great pipeline of authors for you guys this summer, fall, and winter. Let's see. I mean, I pitched Stacey Abrams. I mean, no word from her yet, but she would be a dream. Tamron Hall. I love her, and I actually got to meet her when she was promoting her talk show. So I would love to host her. So I mean, we'll see. There's such an amazing lineup coming. I need a moment to think of who my dream would be.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead, John.
We were like that close to getting something set up with Stacey Abrams. We had a moderator lined up. We had ideas, but her being Stacey Abrams, she was busy, so they only had a certain number of days that she would be able to do something. So unfortunately, she had ties with, not unfortunately, good for her, she had ties with the UT Law School and ended up doing something with Book People. But we were super excited to try to get something in, and we were really close on that one.
Oh, I mean, she was busy getting nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. Just
right.
Yeah. I mean, we did have a pretty killer proposal, though. It kind of stinks. it was very close.
Maybe so.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe so. Kelly was wondering, she said that she's enjoyed the chat with Riley Sager and Abby from Crime by the Book. And do we have plans to include more events with Bookstagrammers? Yes, and we'll be doing Abby and Riley Sager again soon. But, we're open to that. Certainly, like, with you and the SALL Chuck, like, when we have a good fit, we're certainly open and excited about that. We've worked with Christopher Zagorski, who's a book blogger, and we're open to that, because when we have enthusiastic interviewers, even if they're not directly affiliated with the store, it's a win-win for everyone involved. So.
I love Abby, Crime by the Book. Her photos are so cool. She seems like she's really
She's great. She's wonderful. We love her also. Let's see here. Let me just make sure I haven't missed something. Okay, well, Patricia says that she knows that Sarah's writing a mystery. Are we also writing books? And who inspired you to write? I am not writing a book. John, are you writing a book?
Nope.
All right. So, Sarah, it's all you. What inspired you to write? Or who inspired you to write is actually the question.
Oh my gosh, great question. I love that. So again, I've been a lifelong reader. Back to my Anna Green Gables days, my Secret Garden days. I loved those books. And I think, books were also my escape and my salvation. And I think feeling that power and that difference that they made in my life firsthand. I wanted to be a thread in that tapestry and be a link in that chain of being that difference for other people and being that salvation and that escape for them. And so I think having experienced that in my own life was what inspired me to try to be that for others. Having said that, it did take me a really long time to muster the courage. I mean, I knew from the time I was 5 I wanted to be a writer, but that didn't seem like something that was possible for someone like me who was, from a very poor family. It was the first of my family to go to college. And, I thought that wasn't a path open to me. And so I went to college, I worked my way through, and then I had a corporate career. And then eventually I thought, if I don't make a change at some point and try to do this, I'm going to really regret it. So eventually I gathered the courage to leave that job and to become a writer.
That's great. So I've been sitting thinking about this and I don't have an answer yet. So sorry to put you two on the spot, but Anissa was wondering what has been one of the oddest things an author has said in an interview. If one of you has an answer, John has an answer. There we go.
So one of the weirdest, well, it wasn't weird, but it was just kind of situational thing. So when we did the event with Ben Winters and Jonathan Ames a couple of weeks ago, Ben's dog kept barking. So he was like, oh, I'm going to get up. And he's like, I'm going to get up and I go get a toy for the dog. So he just gets up and leaves. And Jonathan's kind of there on the camera by himself. And he's like, oh, did you know that I can speak backwards? And just start saying words backwards. He's like, this coffee cup is this, blah, 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 it's coffee cup. This is this backwards. This is, and it's just like, a pro, he just starts rattling off all these things backwards. And he's like, and that's just my OCD or my DCO. And then all of a sudden Ben came back and I was like, oh, we have gotten a little off the rails here, but it was hilarious because I was just like, what is going on here?
Oh my God, that's so funny and so amazing. I love that. Wait, I have to go back and rewatch that. Which one was it?
Ben Winters and Jonathan Ames.
Okay, I'm gonna go rewatch that because
it was so funny because then Ben was like, oh, the dog's still barking, so I'm gonna move my laptop over here and I'm gonna sit on the couch with the dog. But then the dog was right here barking, so you could see the dog's snout barking in the corner, but you couldn't hear anything that Ben was saying. It was hilarious.
Oh my. That is crazy. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. So one of my favorite questions to ask authors is, what's your weird? Show us your weird, because we all want to know about that weird, right? Yeah. So actually here on Murder by the Book, Saul Lelchuk, who is a professor at a college, Dartmouth College, very normal looking, just dude in San Francisco, told us that he likes to write his books to French pop music. And he doesn't speak French, but it's just je ne sais quoi, he's just rocking out. I don't know. And I was hysterical laughing. And then Christina McDonald said she likes to, and she's just, a blonde, suburban looking mom, a lovely person. So she's like, yeah, I like to write to trance music. She's like, I turn it on so loud that the walls are shaking, and just back to my clubbing days in my 20s. I was trying to picture that. It's so funny. I love people's weird.
Yeah, absolutely. And you also have a question you ask every time, isn't it, what is something no one else knows, or a secret?
Yes. Yeah. I love secrets, you guys. I love secrets. I like to get in there and pry them out.
Excellent.
How about you, McKenna?
Okay. I was trying to think about it. This isn't a weird answer, but I remember, just because I love her so much. So Steve Barry, I did an interview with her, and Liz Barry with him, and Liz, his wife, is very active in the literary community and international thriller writers, and she, proofreads his books, and it plays a big role in the whole situation. And I was interviewing him, and I talked to him about research or whatever, and she kept popping behind with visual aids. So I would say how do you write your chapters, whatever. And at one point she comes behind him and she's got this whole stack of legal pad pages that are folded together in different categories, and they're clearly organized, and she goes to show them, and then she drops them all over the floor, and then was and it was this great, well-intentioned blooper, and all of us were laughing, and she was trying to tidy up, and Steve was like, just leave it, we'll get it later, in the middle of the event. And all all of this said with love and delight, and it was so endearing and wonderful. But that was a pretty funny moment. It wasn't a weird answer. I'll have to think about that a little bit more. But it was a good moment. We have a technical question from Gail, and I don't know exactly how to address this except to just kind of tell you how the process is going to work, Gail. So Gail was wondering, when we post our Murder by the Book calendar, will we also post an Eastern Standard Time now that Sarah's involved, so she doesn't have to remember to add an hour? So for Sarah's events, Sarah's actually going to be creating all the Facebook events, and we're going to be official co-hosts on them. So if you're finding them on Facebook, I don't know exactly how that looks, but it should show up in your time zone. On all of our graphics, we have been putting the time and then CST. I know we have a lot of graphics done for future events already, but maybe we'll consider putting like 7, 8. What do you think, John?
And so if you're looking at the website, unfortunately, the Murder by the Book website doesn't let us put in, so murderbooks.com doesn't let us put in time zones. So we can only do it for our time zone. But once we get the event graphics for Sarah's events, McKenna, who's our social media person, has been putting the Central and Eastern times on there. So we can talk to her about doing it on our regular Murder by the Book ones too. But yeah, so Facebook, Gail, should give you your Eastern time, but for our website, we can't put in a time zone, unfortunately. Just so we'll make sure we include it on the graphics.
And Gail, I always put on my graphics too, because I want MP to be accessible to everyone, and I'm in the Eastern time zone too. So I got you, girl.
Okay. And Gail says she was joking. She can add the hour, but Gail, we have had more questions about time zones than we ever thought possible during this pandemic. So it's a fair question, and we're happy to try to accommodate and make it as easy as possible. I will say one of the events that I would love to host this fall, but I don't know how or if there's any chance, is I wouldn't mind getting Louise Penny and Hillary Clinton together for that book, but or just Louise for Madness of Crowds, but especially the fall book. I know we're gonna get started on a proposal for that, but that would be kind of a dream event and very, very slim odds. But that was one that I would certainly enjoy. Okay, I have some questions for us. So we're all book lovers. Your house is on fire. What 2 or 3 books in your book collection do you grab?
Oh,
Sarah, you can start.
Oh my God, I'm literally panic stricken with terror at the idea of, I'm like trying to picture if I could pick my bookcase up, strap it to my back, and carry it down the stairs. I think I would save those childhood favorites. My Anne of Green Gables is, a leather-bound, beautiful one that I got for my 11th birthday, and my Secret Garden from my Aunt Joan when I was 8, and it's a paperback and it's tattered and it's stained, but I love it so much. I would have to take those childhood books.
How about you, John?
So I have a signed copy of The Lion in the Valley by Elizabeth Peters, who I love. So Dean, who used to be the manager of the store, actually took it to Malice to get it signed for my husband and I. And so it's signed to Matt and John. Any friend of Dean's is a friend of mine. So that would definitely be one that I know. I'm just like,
oh my God, priceless.
Yeah. So that one, I would take my signed copy of John Steele's The Watchers, and probably my copy of Arturo Perez Reverte's, one of his. I have a bunch of them signed. I don't know. I would probably just grab whichever one I could get. And luckily they're all on my bookcase in the living room. So I could grab those and run quick.
Oh my God, that's so cool. McKenna, you must have really cool ones.
I have some pretty good books. I actually would take, I have the store guest books. And so I would grab the stack of the store guest books, which have author signatures, messages, dates from everyone since 2009. So I have stacks of guest books. So if that can count as one, I would grab those. Yeah. And then it's pretty incredible. Doodles, they're cool.
Oh, really cool.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Because the Mysterious Bookshop has a ledger, which is great, but everyone gets a line. But we gave people just pages. So sometimes we have big drawings, or we have paragraph messages about their visit, and they're really lovely things. So I would grab those. And then also a few years ago, my mom gave me a signed Agatha Christie. So I would grab it. And then beyond that, it would be a close battle between a handful of books that have personal messages from author friends. But yeah, that, or I have a couple books of my dad's from, who's no longer with us. So I might grab one of those. But the store guest books or that Agatha Christie would probably be quick because it's, they were gifts also. So
do those live in your house, McKenna, or do they stay at the store?
No, I have like, I don't know, 20 or so. We go through a couple of them a year. So I have most of them stacked up here. There's probably one or two at the store. Well, actually, maybe not because we haven't had anyone in store since March of 2020. So normally there's one or two at the store and I grab them, once a year or something and add them to the stacks. But they are pretty cool.
Wow.
So, all right. Then let's see. What else? Do we have any other audience questions?
Oh my God, I love Patricia saying she's having bookcase envy with you too. I know your bookcases look so amazing. I'm having bookcase envy.
I'm so sad this is all getting dismantled tonight or tomorrow. I have an event tomorrow night and I am going to miss this library so much moving to my new place. So I don't know what it's going to be, but it's not going to be this. It's going to be sad. Anyway, all right, so I am going to do this for us. I always do this for authors. I ask questions from the Proust questionnaire, but I'm going to do it for us because people enjoy it. And I only have 3. They're not hard. And then I think that's going to wrap us up for the night. But this is not books. What would you consider your most prized possession that is not like a dog or a child, like something that's not living?
So I have my grandmother's wedding china from 1936, my Nana DiVello, and I love it's. I mean, they're so light; they're like air, and they're so little because they had, smaller people back then, and so a martini glass is half the size of this. But I love her wedding china so much; it is so beloved to me. I don't even use it, and I should because it's so. I love it so much. That is absolutely my favorite thing.
All right, John, what would you point out?
So mine's cheesy and sentimental, but I have a note that my husband Matt wrote for me one of the first times that he spent the night at my apartment when we were first dating, and he was getting ready to leave, and he wrote like, "I hope you have a good day. I love you," or something. And I've carried it in my wallet with me for like almost 20 years now, and it's like if anything happened to that, I would just be devastated.
Oh my God!
You take it out and it falls apart.
Yeah,
it's so old.
I should probably not carry it in my wallet because I don't want anything to happen to it, but that's where it lives.
We've got to get it laminated for you.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Mine is easy. I not only because it's career related, but also because sentimental value, my violin. I have had my violin since I was like 9. My parents got it for me. It's from 1675. So I would grab my violin case and run out the door. Like that's been my answer forever.
You play the violin? That's so cool.
I do. Yeah. I have a master's in violin performance. That's what I'm trained to do. So, yeah. So my violin would go out the door with me. Probably practically after that, it would be laptop.
Oh my God. I didn't even think of that. Laptop.
Yeah. Oh, Gail. Well, this is a great question. Where would we take Sara to dinner in Houston once she can visit? Well, it depends what Sara wants, but most of the time people want Tex-Mex when they come to Houston.
So I've been to Houston. I taught at the Texas Yoga Conference in Houston 6 years ago. My very dear friend, Amy Jones Atwood, lives in Houston, and I ate my way through that city. Like I am a hearty eater, and I ate my way through that city. So I had 2 incredibly memorable meals. One was Tex-Mex. So Gail in Boston, Tex-Mex, it ruined me for all Tex-Mex to go back to Boston because holy crap, it's good there. And there's, I'm totally blanking on the name of it, but there's this 1950s village that's sort of like preserved, and it's very, it just still looks like a street from the 1950s. And Amy took me there, and we had the best food ever. And you know how refried beans are usually like the side dish? You guys, they were so good. I got a quart to go. Like I'm gonna take this in my carry-on. I've always used the refried beans, but I was like, another quart of beans, please. Like they were so good. And oh my God, I went to this other restaurant. I'm blanking on the name of it. I'll post in the comments afterward. But they had this incredible kale salad with this peanut oil, and it was so good. I actually got the recipe, and I've been trying to make it, but it's not quite right. You guys got some good eating in Houston.
We're a great restaurant city for sure. Absolutely.
Where your mind's at, Gal.
All right. Who is your hero of fiction?
Agatha Christie.
There you go. And it can be a character or author. Like, who would you consider your hero of fiction?
Oh. What about
John,
you?
do you have one?
I think mine would be Meg Murray from A Wrinkle in Time.
Right.
Like I just as a character, I love her. She's a character that stuck with me for so long. I think it would be Meg from A Wrinkle in Time.
So I am a Shakespeare fanatic. Love Shakespeare, love the plays. And when I was much younger, I don't know why she's not a good role model, but I loved Ophelia. In fact, like I have a username like Ophelia ... Like still a lot of my things involve that. Not for like banking, but just no one take note with regards to that. But my real answer is Beatrice from Much Ado About Nothing, because she is incredible and smart and such a strong woman, and I absolutely adore her. Okay, we're gonna end this because as much fun as this has been, we were gonna make this a shorter thing tonight. We're gonna end with what is your idea of perfect happiness, which is my favorite one that I always end with. So who wants to take that one first?
I think my idea of perfect, or like my idea of perfect happiness is, and I really, really can't wait. This is like the thing that's been the hardest for the pandemic has just been like seeing a live performance, whether it's theater, a musical, a play, like a concert. Like I'm jonesing to go to a concert so bad. So just being in an audience, like that moment just before it starts and the performers start to walk out on stage, like that is like my idea of perfect happiness, and I miss it so much.
And you just got your first concert ticket.
I did. I just bought my first concert tickets this week. I'm so excited. We're seeing Harry Styles in September if that show still happens. But we just bought tickets to see Churches in like November. And it's the first concert tickets I bought in forever. I'm super excited.
Yeah. It's a great feeling. It's gonna I've been performing at so many things for a while now. And when we first did that like porch concert in the Heights for a live audience as musicians, like gosh, what was that, like June of last year, or maybe it was the fall. I can't remember. It must have been the fall of last year, for a live audience again, after not having been able to do that from the musician end of things. I mean, it was just incredible. So yeah, it's that live production, whether it's theater or music or whatever it is certainly something to look forward to again. Mine is more like cerebral. I will be much more, my idea of perfect happiness, I juggle a lot and I feel like I'm always behind in things. So there's the rare occasion, very rare, where I feel caught up. That's my idea of perfect happiness, when I don't feel like I'm letting someone or something down. So that moment when I feel like I'm caught up and my brain is just like at peace, that's pretty great. How about you, Sarah?
Mine is curled up with my puppy, Pelu, who's from Texas. She's from McAllen, Texas, reading a great book with a cup of tea, having just eaten a great meal. Because I'm all about that next meal. And I was going to say, and it's so weird, I was going to say, wait a minute, where am I going to take John and McKenna when they come to Boston? And my friend Gail just asked. So if Gail and John eat oysters, because, we got a lot of oysters. If you guys eat oysters, I would take you out for oysters in the North End.
Excellent.
Fabulous Italian meal in the North End. If you don't, I would also take you to my friend Tatiana's restaurant. She is a 3-time chopped champion.
Wow.
And she's competed on Beef Bobby Flay, and she's freaking amazing. And she does Cuban French food, and she's freaking amazing. She's at the Seaport. She's at the Envoy Hotel at the Outlet Kitchen, and I'm going to tell you, it's going to be one of the best meals of your life. So as soon as you can, get to Boston. I'm taking you out.
Awesome. It's a date. It's a date. And you know what? Until then, we're going to see each other on this, circling back to the main reason we're here, which is that we're so excited you're going to be doing these events, in collaboration with us. So people can find your events on our Facebook page and YouTube, but also on yours. You want to tell us again, like where that is and information for people to sign up?
Yes. So I'm going to be streaming these interviews to my author page, which is, heavily disguised. It's Sara DiVello. I need to get better at the whole mystery thing. It is not a mystery. It's just my name. And also my Mystery and Thriller Mavens page. And that is a place where I like to say we continue the conversation. So we nerd out about our favorite authors, about our favorite books. I take requests for what authors you'd like me to interview. I take questions in advance. If you can't be there live and in person, you can comment on the thread, and then I'll ask for you and post the replay, so you still get to be part of it. So it's Mystery and Thriller Mavens on Facebook, and I do giveaways too. So for my first broadcast on Tuesday, I'm hosting Maureen Johnson, #1 New York Times bestseller, and Laura Littman, New York Times bestseller and multiple award winner. And be sure you tune in, because I am going to buy one lucky winner a copy of the book of their choice. And also, John, can you show us your t-shirt? A Murder by the Book t-shirt. How freaking cool is that? Holmes and Watson and Marple and Poirot. So some lucky winner is going to get a Murder by the Book t-shirt of their choice and a Murder by the Book of their choice. So join me on Tuesday.
Well, I have nothing to add to that. I mean, you've said it all. You're great. We knew you were great. You've done it. So thanks to everyone for watching. This has been a treat for me. It's been fun kind of nerding out with you guys about what we've been doing, and looking forward to the future. And I'm going to sign us all off. Again, have a good evening, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See you soon.
Bye.